Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
Columbia Space Initiative, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station is waiting for the voice check.
Station, this is Kate Lambo with the Columbia Space Initiative. How do you hear me?
I hear you a little bit garbled, but I can say that I hear you.
Let me get muted. I don't know if it's in mode.
Can't hear the audio for this second. Can you hear us?
I think Doc. You can out. I can out. Let me get first.
You want
Hey, Sad. You can hear people thumbs up. We can't hear you for some reason. If you can hear us, give us a thumbs up.
I can hear you, but you sound like you're in the bottom of a 55-gallon drum. You're hard to understand.
We're requesting for you guys to.
There you go.
Yeah. Station, this is Kate Lambo with the Columbia Space Initiative. Can you hear me?
I can hear a voice, but it's too garbled to understand.
Can you hear me any better now?
Tell them you lost it. We might have just done something.
We are telling them also.
And station, this is Houston ASR. Just please stand by. The client is working out a technical problem.
Station, this is Kate Lambo with the Columbia Space Initiative. How do you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's still garbled, cannot understand.
How interesting. How about no? 6. How about now?
How about now?
That was much better. Whatever you're doing now, it's starting to come through.
Great, fantastic. Astronaut Pettit, it's great to see you. Thank you for bearing with us. We are calling in from Columbia University's campus in New York City and are joined by about 400 students, staff, alumni, faculty, and family members, both here in the room and virtually. We have a number of excited students here to ask you questions. Chloe, do you want to come up and kick us off?
Hello, Astronaut Pettit. Hello, everyone. I'm Chloe. I'm very excited that we finally got those issues worked out and that we get to talk to you today. But my first question, I wondered, what has been the most impactful experiment that you've performed in space? And have you had any unexpected results from anything that you've conducted?
What I heard is still a little garbled, but I heard the question is that what kind of experiments am I working on in space? And I'm working on the programmatic science experiments that come up through the space station principal investigators. And in that respect, we're kind of like graduate students working in a graduate student laboratory under the wing of a major professor, and we do that with the principal investigators. Then in off-duty time, since we're living in an orbiting laboratory, you can do small educational demonstrations and other investigations on your own, and I like to refer to those as science of opportunity, because you have the opportunity living and working in an orbiting laboratory. You can take advantage of that and do some observations at your beckoning on the side.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Claudia?
Hi, Dawn. Hope you can hear me. I just have another question for you. So we know that you're a photographer and that you've taken countless photos for the ISS. How do you balance your passions outside of engineering with the ones that ultimately led you your current role as an astronaut?
You don't have to balance. What you do is you do both, and you do both as your scientific investigations, and you document it with photography. So it isn't a do one or the other. You do both at the same time.
That was great. Thank you.
Awesome. Our next question asker is actually a high school student that is joining us today. So Ian, if you want to come up.
Hello, my question is, can you tell us about some of your favorite Saturday morning science projects? And do you have any that you could show us?
I have a number of little educational demonstrations and or observations I'm working on. And the one that I did this morning has to do with looking at the freezing front of ice. So I have access to minus 95 degrees centigrade freezer here. And I was making wafers of ice. And let me show you, I'm not sure how well this picture shows up. Okay, this is one of the ice crystals I was growing this morning. It's about 50 millimeters in diameter, and there's a number of single crystals of ice, and it's observed between cross-polarized polarizers. So this is under polarized light. So I've got an investigation going on, just looking at the freezing front of ice and looking at the growth of the crystals.
That looks amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Ines?
Hello, thank you so much for chatting with us. My question is, what was the most unexpected part about being an astronaut? And did you realize this in training or after when you were in space?
Well, to me, the most unexpected aspect of being an astronaut is learning about all the stuff that you don't know, and sometimes you aren't very good at doing. And here's one thing: talking on a radio while you're flying a jet or you're working into a spacecraft. What I found is I key the button to talk to either mission control or talk to center while you're flying an airplane, and my brain disconnects, and it's really interesting to talk and fly, or talk and do a highly operational task at the same time. And I didn't know that I couldn't do that very well until I became an astronaut. So going through the training of astronauts with all kinds of classmates that are really, really sharp people, you learn about your strengths, you learn about your weaknesses, and you learn how to work as a team so that you cover other people's weaknesses, and then you in turn get your weaknesses covered.
Who knew? Multitasking, critical. All right, Ines, or not Ines, Moises, do you want to come up next?
Astronaut Pettit, quick question. So CSI is home to space enthusiasts of all types. We have students that study everything from engineering to biology to astrophysics and public policy. So what is your best advice for college students looking to pursue careers in aerospace? Thank you.
I think what you need to do is something that sings to your heart, and you have to be really, really good at doing that. And the best way to be really, really good at doing something is to be working in a field that you really enjoy doing. So it
Welcome back. We're going to do that question one more time because you froze. So I'll have Moises ask it again.
Thank you. CSI is home to space enthusiasts of all types. We have students that study everything from engineering to biology to astrophysics and public policy. So what's your best advice for college students looking to pursue careers in aerospace? Thank you again.
I think you should study a discipline that you really, really enjoy, a discipline that sings to your heart, and then you will excel at doing that. Don't go into a field that you don't really like, but you think that maybe it will advance you further to get into the astronaut program. That's not the way to do it. Go into a field that you really, really like, and then work from there to figure out how to become an astronaut.
Great advice. Thank you.
All right, Robbie.
Hi, Don. So aboard the ISS, you get to view Earth from a unique perspective and see all of its beauty. Is there any specific part of Earth that you enjoy orbiting over the most? If so, why?
Oh, one of my favorite parts of daytime Earth orbit is the Caribbean. It's just an amazing place to look at from orbit. The colors are intense. Now, nighttime is different. I love going over Southeast Asia because the city lights are incredibly intense, and they're starting to put up all kinds of these crazy LED lights with pastel colors. So from a sheer artistic beauty point of view, the Southeast Asia is amazing. Although I do have to point out that when you have really bright cityscapes, that's a form of pollution, light pollution, and the people living in these cityscapes do not have a good view of the night sky.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're certainly familiar with that here in New York City, I think. All right, awesome. Our next person, Michael. Yeah.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Question for you. The ISS is facing decommissioning at the end of this decade. Are you optimistic about the development of commercial space stations? And how do you feel about the increased presence of startups focusing on commercializing space?
I am really optimistic and all for commercialization of low Earth orbit and beyond. It's going to be like opening up the Wild West in the expansion of the United States when we moved west, and there was a combination of government and commercial entities. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. In terms of ISS, I hope that we as a country will continue to think that the space station has value and continue to support it and maintain it. My opinion, a space station could be like a B-52 airplane, and that airplane was designed in the 40s, built in the 50s, and it's still flying. It's going to be flying almost at a 90-year point here, and I think space station could be in the same category if we have the interest in keeping it going as a nation.
Thank you.
Great, Skylar.
Hello, Astronaut Pettit. What is your favorite and least favorite part of being on the ISS?
Could you repeat your question again? I'm still having trouble with your audio. It's pretty garbled.
Okay. What is your favorite and least favorite part of being on the ISS?
My favorite part is being able to fly like Peter Pan. I mean, look, no hands and no feet, no hands. It's really fascinating to be able to fly around. That's one of my favorite parts of being on station. Least favorite part is the separation from your family. Space missions are such that we're gone for 6 months at a time, sometimes more, and that's a long time to be away from your family.
Thank you.
All right, Joe Raymond.
Thank you for speaking with us today. My question is, have you come up with any creative ways to improve your food you eat in space? And do you actually eat the astronaut ice cream they sell in the museums?
Yeah.
Food is one aspect of life that I'm not very creative at. I eat whatever is put in front of me, and here on station we have more like camping food. Some of it's freeze-dried, some of it's in these thermal stabilized pouches, and we've got all kinds of spices and things you can put on it, but I'm not creative enough to figure out what kind of spice goes on things. So I just rip open a package and eat what's in the package. I'm kind of boring when it comes to food. However, I will say that I do enjoy good food when I'm around good food. I just am not somebody that can make good food. And then the astronaut ice cream, that flew on maybe 1 or 2 shuttle missions, and it turned out to be a real mess because the freeze-dried ice cream is hydroscopic and it's also crumbly. So when you take a bite of the freeze-dried ice cream, it makes dozens of little tiny crumbs of freeze-dried ice cream. And since they're hydroscopic, they rapidly absorb water vapor from the air and turn back into little blobs of ice cream that float all around and stick to the wall and stick to you and stick to everything and make a mess. So astronaut ice cream is a great idea in concept, but in operation, like so many things, it just didn't cut it. So I've never had astronaut ice cream in space. I tasted it once as a kid, and that's it.
Fantastic note. We're going to take a quick group photo with you, Dawn. So if you can just stay there, we'll arrange in the room, and then we'll end the downlink. If you have CSI shirts on and you want to come up to the front, do that now rapidly. Dawn, you want to come up to the front, do that now.
While you guys are getting your group photo, let me explain a little bit about where I am. I'm in this module called the cupola, and it has 7 windows that are arranged in approximately into a hemisphere. And we are currently seeing a daytime pass over Earth, and you can see a Soyuz vehicle over my head. You can see a solar panel, a circular solar panel. You can see another spacecraft to my left, and then another one of the modules here to my right. And then, of course, you get this amazing view of planet Earth.
Certainly is a stellar view. Prof. Mike, did you want to say anything?
Hey, Don, it's Mass. I just want to thank you for doing this. I know you're real busy up there, but it's so great to see you. And to arrange the view we have over your head is just spectacular. So thanks for doing that. And we can't thank you enough for spending some time with us.
Hey, my pleasure, Mass. You need to be up here with us and help us do some of these science and engineering research experiments.
Yeah, if I could find a ride, I'd be there.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Operational audio communications.